Mastering the Commute, your 6-minute traffic fix. Episode 19, Memorial Day Madness. What to expect on the roads this weekend.
Traffic and more traffic in 6 minutes. Here's Randy Keith.
I took a little time off with my wife for her 40th birthday earlier this week, and we got back just in time for one of the most notorious driving weekends of the year, Memorial Day. Back in episode 15, I covered times to expect traffic other than rush hour, and I touched on holiday weekends a little bit, but today, since Memorial Day weekend is upon us, and then summer, and soon after 4th of July and Labor Day, I'm going to go into a little more detail about how best to plan your drive for the holiday weekend. Memorial Day weekend is one of those cases where traffic is almost completely predictable, but still brutal if you don't plan ahead. The traffic flow follows patterns getting out of town at the beginning of the weekend, then back into town at the end of the weekend. This applies for Labor Day and Thanksgiving as well, and to a certain extent on Martin Luther King and President's Day weekends as well. And of course, 4th of July, Christmas, and New Year's, though obviously those days can float and not necessarily be on the weekend. So back to Memorial Day and the classic 3-day weekend traffic pattern. Here's what to expect. Friday, noon to 7 p.m. is the get-out-of-town wave. Expect gridlock leaving pretty much every major city. The worst hours are 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. in most metros. Lunchtime traffic around 12 to 2 p.m. will be heavier than usual, and commutes can start even earlier than noon in places like Southern California and the New York, New Jersey tri-state area. Once you get into the evening after 7 p.m. on Friday night, the late leavers hit the road. Those who had to work late try to squeeze in a drive, often running into construction or remaining outbound traffic. The next day, Saturday morning, 8 to 11 a.m. is usually the second surge. People who wanted to wait out Friday head out on Saturday, but they run into local retail traffic, sports events, and perhaps beachgoers. Sunday is usually the calm between the storms. Historically, this is the lightest day for travel all weekend because most of the volume is out of town already. It's your best bet if you absolutely need to be on the road. Now, this is, of course, different from the normal weekend when Sunday is the time when people come back home from the weekend vacations. So that obviously puts Monday as the great return. So 2 p.m. to 9 p.m. on Monday is the peak time of everybody returning from their vacations. Afternoon and evening return traffic is usually worse than the Friday getaway, especially around 4 to 7 p.m. And that's because everybody is coming back in a tighter window of time. This is true even in smaller cities and rural vacation areas. Bottom line, there are 2 peaks, Friday outbound and Monday inbound. Most of Saturday and Sunday is going to be your safe zone. So here are a few real U.S. city examples where holiday traffic hits hardest. We'll start from the east and then kind of move on west. So Boston, outbound traffic hits I-93 north and I-95 toward New Hampshire and Maine on Friday afternoon. Cape Cod traffic via Route 3 and the Sagamore Bridge is notorious. And of course, the Monday return is brutal. Atlanta, expect I-75 south toward Macon and Florida to jam up Friday afternoon. Also, that drive out of Florida up to Georgia on I-75 north away from the Florida Turnpike. Very, very common to get jammed on a Friday and especially a holiday weekend. I-20 east toward Augusta, Georgia, and I-85 toward South Carolina will also be packed. Monday return via I-75 and I-85 north into the city can be bumper to bumper. Houston, Friday gridlock on I-10, US 290, and I-45 toward Dallas, Austin, and Galveston, and Monday backups inbound from all directions. How about Chicago? Outbound Friday traffic on I-90, 94, and I-55. Beach and lake traffic spike on Saturday, and Monday the heavy northbound I-65 and all interstates returning to the loop are just very, very heavy. And 2 cities I have extensive experience with. Phoenix, outbound traffic spikes on Friday on I-10 toward California and I-17 north toward Flagstaff. And you can certainly expect return jams Monday on I-17 south. And of course, Southern California, the Los Angeles metro area, outbound bottlenecks Friday on the 101 going up towards Santa Barbara, the 5 north up into the Central Valleys and south down toward San Diego, and I-10 toward the beach, Palm Springs, and I-15 toward Vegas. And of course, the 91 in the Santa Ana Canyon between Orange County and Corona, that is always horrendous on the Friday leaving for the eastbound commute and Monday coming back the westbound commute. And pretty much anything into the Inland Empire, the 10 and 60 coming back from Palm Springs can be really, really horrendous on the Mondays after a holiday. If you live in or near a vacation destination like the beach or pretty much any metro city in Florida, you'll see both waves, people coming in and leaving. So how can you cope? Here are some pro driving trips for the long weekend. Leave early or leave late. Beat the crowds by heading out before 10 a.m. Friday or waiting until after 8 p.m. Return smart. Leave early Monday morning or push your drive to early Tuesday if you can. Also, alternate routes matter. Look ahead of time for parallel highways, scenic bypasses, or even toll roads to save time. Rest stops. The strategy is to avoid them at peak hours. Time your stops off hour for less stress. And here's a bonus tip, something I've been very, very adamant about in many episodes of Mastering the Commute. Don't trust your GPS alone. Use live traffic overlays, not just estimated times. Also, make sure you check your times before you leave and on your gas stops so that you can see if traffic changes. Quick reminder that holiday weekends bring surprises. Speed traps and DUI checkpoints are certainly much more common, so drive responsibly. Construction zones may still pop up, especially in rural areas or on side highways, and breakdowns increase in heat. Check your tires, coolant, and battery before you go, because it is certainly going to be warm this weekend throughout most of the country. Don't let poor prep turn a fun weekend into a roadside nightmare. Got a story from a holiday weekend drive gone wrong or right? Email me at freewaytrafficexpert@gmail.com. Hey, if you enjoyed the episode, subscribe to our social media at Mastering the Commute on Facebook and YouTube. Follow us, leave a review, and please share this episode if you found it useful. And don't forget to subscribe to receive your free copy of my new ebook, Mastering the Commute, at drivesmarternow.com.